The night was colder than usual in the Verlax prison facility. Metal walls breathed out a chill that crept into the bones of anyone living inside. In a small, rusted cage, a human mother named Lena sat with her young daughter Mira, wrapped tightly in her arms. The lights above flickered, making the shadows dance around them like dark spirits. Every day, Lena tried to pretend she was strong. She smiled for Mira, even when her stomach twisted from hunger. The Verlax guards always gave them expired, rotten food-stale bread that smelled sour, vegetables with mold, and sometimes meat that looked gray. But Lena ate it anyway, because she had to stay alive for her daughter. And she tried to hide the worst pieces so Myra wouldn't see them. Tonight was different. The air felt heavy, as if something big was coming. Mira leaned into her mother's shoulder. "Mama, will we get real food again? Like before?" Lena's heart cracked a little. She stroked Mira's hair, trying to keep her voice steady. "Someday, my love. Someday we will eat warm food again. Food that smells good. You'll see." But inside, Lena didn't believe her own words. They had been trapped for 3 long years. Every morning, Lena woke up wondering if this would be the day her daughter became too weak to rise. Suddenly, the metallic hallway filled with footsteps. Loud, sharp, echoing. The guards never walked like this. These footsteps were heavier, more serious. Lena sat up straight and pulled Mira behind her protectively. 3 Verlax soldiers appeared in front of the cage. Their blue skin glowed under the dim lights, and their sharp teeth glimmered as they smiled cruelly. The captain spoke first, his voice rough like broken metal. "Human female. Human child. You are being transferred." Lena's blood froze. "Transferred? Where? Why?" "No one ever came back after a transfer. Stand up," the captain ordered. Lena didn't move. Fear held her body still, but she wrapped her arms tighter around Myra. "We don't want trouble," she whispered. "Trouble?" The captain laughed. "You don't decide anything. You are property." He unlocked the cage with a hiss and stepped inside. Lena raised her hands in surrender. She knew fighting was useless, but maybe she could protect Mira with her body. "Leave her alone," Lena pleaded. "She's just a child." The captain ignored her and grabbed Mira's arm. The girl cried out, clinging to her mother. "Stop it." Lena shouted, fighting back tears. A different voice suddenly echoed through the corridor. A human voice. "Let them go." The guards turned sharply. Lena's breath caught in her throat as she looked up. A man stood at the end of the hallway. A human man. Tall, strong, and not afraid at all. He wore black armor with glowing red lines. His expression was cold, dangerous, and completely calm, as if he wasn't standing inside one of the most feared alien prisons. The captain growled. "This is not your place, outsider." The man stepped closer. His boots thudded firmly against the metal floor. "It is my place," he said. "Because they belong with me now." Lena stared at him in confusion. She had never seen this man before. Why was a human here? How did he walk through alien guards without fear? The Verlax soldiers hissed, ready to attack, but the captain raised a hand to stop them. "You are the breaker," the captain said slowly. His voice no longer held confidence. It held fear. The breaker. Lena had heard the whispers before. Rumors about a human who worked with aliens but scared even the strongest warriors. Some said he killed a Verlax general with his bare hands. Some said he broke prison ships to free humans. Some said he didn't feel pain. No one knew the truth. The breaker walked right past the guards as if they were nothing. He knelt in front of the cage, looking at Lena and Mira. His eyes were sharp, but his voice was gentle. "You're safe now. Come with me." Lena hesitated. She didn't trust easily anymore. But Mira reached out first. Small fingers trembling. The breaker stood up and glared at the captain. "Transfer complete," he said. The captain swallowed, defeated. "Fine, take them." But remember, if the High Council asks, I answer to no council. The breaker cut him off. He placed a protective hand on Myra's shoulder and guided them out of the cage. Lena followed. Still unsure, still scared, but something inside her felt different for the first time in years. Hope. As they walked down the dark hallway. Alarms suddenly beeped in the distance. Someone had spotted the unauthorized transfer. Trouble was coming. The breaker looked back at Lena, eyes burning with determination. Stay close. Everything changes tonight. Asterisk. The sirens screamed through the prison facility like angry ghosts. Red lights flashed across the metal halls, painting everything in a warning glow. Lena held Mira's hand tightly as they hurried behind the mysterious man who had taken them from the cage. He moved fast but steady, as if he had walked through this prison 100 times before. No fear, no doubt. Just confidence. Stay close, he said without looking back. Lena didn't know his name yet, but the guards had called him something. The Breaker, a title that made even the powerful Verlax hesitate. Mira whispered softly, Mama. Who is he? Lena didn't know how to answer. She wanted to say, a hero, but heroes didn't exist in this place. Instead, she said, someone who wants to help us, for now. That is enough. They turned a corner, and for the first time, Lena noticed something strange. All the doors they passed had heavy locks, laser grids, or armed guards. But when the breaker walked by, the guards stepped back, some bowed slightly. Some looked away. Some pretended they didn't see him at all. It was as if he carried an invisible shield around him, a silent authority. Finally, Lena found her voice. Why are they afraid of you? The breaker stopped in front of a sealed door. He pressed his hand on a glowing panel. The metal slid open with a hiss. Inside was a small armory room filled with weapons and old, human tech. He nodded for them to enter. Only then did he answer. They fear me, he said. Because I do not fear them. His voice was calm but carried a weight that sent chills down Lena's spine. Mira stayed close, watching him with wide eyes. The breaker picked up a small backpack and handed it to Lena. His hands were steady, careful, almost gentle. Supplies, he said. Food, water, medicine. Lena opened it and froze. Inside were fresh fruits, clean bread, 2 bottles of water, and medical packets. Food that looked real. Food that smelled safe. Mira gasped. Mama. It's not rotten. Lena's eyes watered. She turned away quickly so Myra wouldn't see her tears. The breaker continued packing tools and devices. Eat slowly, he warned. Your bodies have been starved for too long. Lena wanted to trust him. She wanted to believe he was truly helping them. But confusion gnawed at her. Finally she spoke. Why us? Why did you take us? The breaker paused for a long moment. His face, usually unreadable, softened slightly. Because humans don't belong in cages, he said. And because you are not the only ones I plan to save. Before Lena could ask more, the prison walls shook violently. A deep explosion echoed from above. The breaker straightened. They're trying to seal the exits. He opened a drawer and pulled out a small black device. It unfolded into a holographic map of the facility. We go down, he said. Level 7. Maintenance tunnels. They won't expect humans there. Mira tugged on Lena's sleeve. Mama, what if they catch us? The breaker heard her and knelt to Mira's height. His eyes were sharp but kind. They won't catch you, he said softly. Not while I'm here. For some reason, Mira believed him. They moved again, faster this time. The hallways now shook with every distant explosion. The Verlax were activating their lockdown system. As they approached a wide security corridor. Loud marching footsteps rolled toward them. Dozens of Verlax soldiers. The breaker stopped, lifted a hand and whispered. Stay behind me. Lena's heart pounded as the soldiers appeared, weapons raised. The commander shouted, Stop! That transfer was not authorized. Lena squeezed Mira's hand, expecting a fight. She had seen Verlac's fights before, fast, brutal, deadly. But the breaker did not attack. Instead, he stepped forward calmly, like a wolf walking into a pack of lions. I said. The breaker's voice echoed through the hall. They are mine. The soldiers hesitated. Their weapons trembled slightly. The commander growled. Your authority does not reach here, human. The breaker's eyes darkened. My authority reaches everywhere you fear to enter. For a moment, no one moved. Then, the commander stepped aside. The soldiers parted like doors being opened for a king. Lena stared in disbelief. Mira whispered, Mama. He didn't even fight them. The breaker finally looked back at them. You asked why they call me the breaker, he said. He didn't smile. He didn't boast. He simply walked forward as if explaining a simple fact. I break the things they think cannot be broken. And in that moment, Lena realized something frightening and hopeful. This man was not just strong, not just brave, not just different. He was a human who forced aliens to step away, and she had no idea what he planned next. The deeper they moved into the prison facility, the stranger it became. The clean metal walls faded into old rusted pipes. The smell changed too. It was no longer cold and sterile. Instead, it smelled like oil dust and forgotten machinery. Mira pressed her face into her mother's side. This place feels scary. Lena gently rubbed her daughter's back. I know, sweetheart. But we're with him now. The breaker walked ahead, checking corners, scanning shadows. He carried no map now. It was clear he already knew every path, every turn, every hidden door. As the lights flickered overhead, Lena realized something. This man had been here before. They reached a locked maintenance hatch. The breaker pulled a small tool from his belt, placed it on the lock, and a flicker of blue electricity crackled. The hatch popped open. Inside was a dark downward staircase, leading into the lower levels, areas the Verlacs rarely visited. The tunnels are below, he said. We'll be safe once we reach them. Lena hesitated. Safe? No place in this empire is safe for humans. The breaker stopped and looked directly at her. There will be, he said quietly. Something in his voice, a promise, a determination, made her heartbeat slow for a moment. But before she could ask what he meant, Mira tugged on her sleeve. Mama. He knows the way like he lived here. Lena swallowed. Maybe he did. They stepped onto the metal stairs, each step groaning under their weight. Halfway down, the lights snapped off. Darkness swallowed them. Hold out. Mira gasped and clutched Lena tightly. Lena's breath caught. Total darkness meant danger. The Verlacs had cut power to trap them. A calm click echoed through the black. The breaker activated his visor. A soft red glow lit his face, and he moved like a shadow with eyes. Stay close. Do not make noise. Lena nodded, but then a distant metallic howl vibrated through the tunnels. Mira whispered, trembling. What was that? The breaker responded instantly. Not Verlacs. Something worse. Lena's chest tightened. Worse than the Verlacs? They're machines, he said. Sentinels. They send them when they want to clean the lower tunnels. He didn't explain more. He didn't need to. The grinding noise grew louder. The breaker quickly guided them through another door and sealed it behind them. The noise faded. It must have passed their hallway. Mira exhaled shakily. It sounded huge. The breaker continued leading them through narrow corridors until they reached a wider chamber. It was filled with old human crates, broken screens, and rusted tools. A secret storage. Lena stared. This is human equipment. Yes, the breaker said. Leftover from the first human rebellion. Lena blinked. First? How many rebellions were there? 3, he said. All failed. Mira bit her lip. Did you fight in them? No, he replied. I was not born yet. He lifted a crate and pulled out something wrapped in cloth. When he opened it, Lena saw a small metallic cube glowing softly. "What is that?" she asked. "A memory core," he said. "It holds information the Verlax can't control." He placed it inside his suit. "Come, we're close now." They walked for several minutes until they reached another sealed door. The breaker placed his hand against the scanner, but the scanner flashed red. "Access denied," he frowned. They changed the codes. Behind them, the metallic howling began again, louder this time. It was coming. Mira grabbed Lena's hand in fear. "Mama, the machines are coming." Lena looked at the breaker. "Can you open it?" "Yes," he said. "But it won't be quiet." He pulled a heavy tool from his belt, a compact plasma cutter, and sliced the lock. Sparks lit the room. The smell of burned metal filled the air. The door popped open. Mira jumped inside first, pulling her mother with her. The breaker sealed the door just as the sentinel machines reached the hallway. A loud crash slammed against the door. The metal bent inward slightly, but it held. The breaker turned to them. "We don't have long. They'll break through." Lena looked around. They were in a small chamber with a tall screen in the center. He approached it and activated it. A hologram of a map appeared, an underground network of tunnels, bases, hideouts, human hideouts. Lena stared in disbelief. "There are survivors?" The breaker nodded. "More than you think. Are you taking us to them?" she asked. "No," he said. "I'm taking you to their leader." Lena frowned. "Why?" "I'm no one." "You are not no one," he said firmly. "You once worked in a human research facility, didn't you?" Lena froze. "How do you know that?" "I know every human the Verlax captured," he replied. "And I know what you built. The nutrient generator." Lena's eyes widened. "That was only a prototype. It never worked." "It will," he said. "We need your knowledge to restore it. It can feed thousands of humans without needing alien supply chains." He stepped closer. "It can save us." A massive crash shook the door behind them. Mira jumped in fear. The breaker grabbed a handle on the far wall and yanked it open. A hidden elevator. "Time's up," he said. "Get in, now." Lena and Mira stepped inside. The breaker followed and slammed the panel. The elevator dropped fast. The last thing they heard was the door, above, being torn apart by machines. Mira's voice trembled. "Where are we going?" The breaker looked down at her. "To the place where the real fight begins." The elevator dropped so fast that Lena felt her stomach twist. Mira held tightly onto her mother's arm, her small fingers trembling. The breaker stood in front of them, silent, watching the numbers on the old control screen flick downward. Level 14, level 18, level 22. The deeper they went, the darker everything felt. Pipes groaned, the cables hummed, and dust floated in the narrow beam of red emergency light. Mira gulped. "Are we going underground forever?" The breaker glanced back. "No, only far enough that no alien ever follows." The elevator finally screeched to a stop. The doors opened with a metallic gasp. A dark tunnel stretched ahead, lined with old human markings, symbols, arrows, warnings written in faded paint. Lena took a step forward and felt something strange under her foot. Soil, real earth. Not metal. Not concrete. Her heart squeezed with emotion. The breaker noticed. This level was built by humans long ago, before the Verlax took everything. They walked deeper into the tunnel. Strange rusted machines lay abandoned in corners. Broken pipes dripped water into puddles. Everything smelled old, like forgotten memories. A faint sound echoed ahead. Voices. Human voices. Myra's eyes widened. "Mama, people." Before Lena could respond, a bright white light flashed toward them. Several figures ran from behind the barricade, holding makeshift weapons, pipes, knives, and old plasma rifles. A woman shouted, "Stop!" Identify yourself. The breaker raised both hands. It's me. The weapons lowered instantly. The woman gasped. Commander Reyes? The breaker nodded. Stand down. They're with me. Lena and Mira exchanged a shocked glance. They knew aliens called him the breaker, but they did not know his human name until now. Commander Reyes. The survivors gathered around, staring at the newcomers. Their faces were thin but full of fire. Their clothes were worn but patched with care. Some were old, some young, some barely older than Myra. A tall man stepped forward. You brought 2 more. We thought the Verlax tightened security. They did, Ray said, but these 2 are important. The man studied Lena with curious eyes. You're the scientist, aren't you? The one who worked on the nutrient generator? Lena's heart pounded. Yes, but I didn't finish it. I never. Reyes cut her off. You will finish it now. With our help. Before Lena could say anything more, someone grabbed Mira's hand, a girl, maybe 12 years old. Smiling with a warm friendliness Mira hadn't seen in years. You're safe now, the girl said. Come with me. I'll show you food. Mira looked up at her mother for permission. Lena nodded. Go, sweetheart. But stay close. Mira followed the girl while Lena and Reyes walked deeper into the base, the hidden world below. Tunnel opened into a huge underground chamber, glowing with soft yellow lights powered by old human generators. Families sat around heaters made of scrap metal. Children played with homemade toys. Adults cleaned weapons or checked small garden patches growing under lamps. Lena's breath hitched. She hadn't seen humans living freely in years. Reyes watched her reaction carefully. This is only one part. There are 4 more chambers. How many people are here? She asked. About 600, he said. More join every month, but... Lena struggled to find words. How did you hide from the Verlax? They scan everything. Reyes pointed to a massive machine built into the ceiling. It looked like a cluster of metal wings and rotating rods. That's a distortion device. It scrambles thermal scans. It was built by humans before the last rebellion. Lena stared in awe. I thought it was destroyed. Many things survived, Reyes said, including our hope. They reached a room filled with computers, maps, and glowing screens. A human woman with gray hair approached them. Reyes, you're late. I had complications, he said. The Verlax activated sentinels. The woman cursed softly. Then her eyes landed on Lena. So this is the scientist. Lena swallowed. Yes. But I don't know what you expect. I never finished my research. You don't need to finish alone, the woman said. We have your old files. And we have parts. Reyes added, we just need you to make something the Verlax can't control. She looked at him sharply. Why me? Reyes lowered his voice. Because you care. Because you protected your daughter for 3 years in that hell. That kind of strength. We need it. Lena's throat tightened. Before she could answer, a loud alarm echoed across the base. Reyes stiffened. What now? A young man rushed inside. Commander, we found a spy. Reyes's eyes turned dark. Where? Sector C. He was sending a signal to the surface. Lena felt cold. A spy. A traitor among the humans. Reyes's voice sharpened. Secure the area. No one enters or leaves. The young man nodded and sprinted away. Lena whispered, the Verlax. They found us? Reyes clenched his fists. Not yet. But if the spy succeeded, they will. He turned to her with urgent eyes. You must begin your work now. Our time may be shorter than we think. Lena felt fear, confusion, and responsibility. She looked at the hundreds of humans around her, living in fragile safety. Show me the lab, she said. Reyes nodded. Hope flickered in his eyes. Lena barely had time to breathe when she entered the underground lab. The room smelled of old metal and warm wires. Tables were covered with broken devices, half-finished machines, and human engineering notes. It was messy, crowded, and alive with hope. 3 engineers stood waiting for her. One of them, a young woman with grease on her hands, stepped forward. "We saved everything we found. Your old research. Your diagrams. Even the parts you designed before the Verlax raided Earth." Lena stared at the pile of dusty files and rusted tools. Memories rushed back. Long nights working. Dreams of helping her people. And then the day soldiers kicked down her lab door. She pushed the memories aside and focused. "I'll need working generators. And purified water." And a loud boom shook the underground chamber. Dust fell from the ceiling. Mira screamed from somewhere outside. Lena's heart jumped. "Myra!" Reyes rushed into the lab, breathing heavily but calm. "The sentry detected movement above us." "What kind of movement?" Lena asked, voice shaking. Reyes answered without hesitation. "Verlax dropships." Lena's stomach twisted. "They found us?" "Not yet," he said. "But they are searching this sector. We must assume they will reach the base soon." Another explosion rumbled above closer. This time Mira ran into the lab with the same girl who had shown her the food earlier. Lena immediately gathered her daughter into her arms. "Mama!" The lights were shaking. "It's all right," Lena whispered, even though her own voice trembled. "I'm here." Reyes turned to the engineers. "Prepare the shield system. We need every generator running." The engineers scrambled to work. Reyes looked at Lena. "You keep working. The generator you build may decide whether we stay alive after this attack." Lena nodded, trying to hide the fear in her chest. She forced herself to focus wiring, circuits, diagrams, but the explosions kept coming. Boom. Boom. Each one louder. Each one closer. The enemy arrives half an hour later. The underground base shook so violently that tools crashed onto the floor. Children cried. Adults hurried to secure doors and block entrances. Reyes burst into the room again. "They're here." Lena froze. "How many?" "A hunting squad. But more will follow once they know we're here." Weapons alarms echoed across the chambers. Reyes turned to 3 fighters. "Form a wall at Tunnel A hold until I arrive." "Yes, Commander." They shouted, running toward the battlefield. Reyes pulled out a strange weapon, half human-made, half alien. A glowing blade extended from one side. A shifting blue light pulsed along the handle. Lena stared. "What is that?" "Something I took from the Verlax. They use it to control. I use it to destroy." Before she could answer, another explosion shook the ground. A harsh alarm blared. "Warning, shield failure 40%." People panicked. Someone screamed. A mother pulled 2 children under a table. Lena forced herself to look at Reyes. "Go, help your people." Reyes shook his head. "I help by protecting you too." "And I help by working," Lena said firmly. "Finish the fight." "I'll finish the machine." Reyes hesitated. He rarely hesitated. Then he nodded once. "Stay alive." He ran out, blade ready. Mira watched him go with wide eyes. "Mama, he fights for everyone." Lena brushed Mira's cheek. "Yes, he does." Battle in the tunnels. Reyes sprinted through the tunnels, passing fighters already engaged in battle. The Verlax soldiers had broken through a ventilation shaft. Their blue armor glowed in the dim light as they fired energy shots. The tunnel walls lit up with blasts. Humans scrambled to take cover. Some fired back. Others dragged the wounded away. Reyes jumped into the fight with a force that made the Verlax stumble. He moved like he'd practiced this battle. Every day of his life, one alien fired a shot directly at him. Reyes twisted aside and slammed his glowing blade into the alien's chest. The creature collapsed with a scream. Another alien attacked from behind. Reyes didn't even turn. He threw a compact explosive backward. It detonated in blue fire, sending the alien flying. Human fighters stared in awe. "Commander Reyes!" Someone shouted. "More incoming!" Reyes lifted his weapon. "Then we meet them head-on." Back in the lab, Lena worked furiously, sweat dripping down her face. She wiped it away with her sleeve. Her hands shook, but she didn't stop. Her machine was almost stable, almost alive. Mira handed her tools quickly. "Mama here. And this one." "You're helping a lot," Lena said breathlessly. The ground shook again. Warning. Shield failure 22%. The engineer beside Lena whispered. "If the shield breaks completely, the Verlax will flood in." "Then we don't let it break," Lena replied. She connected one last wire, and the generator hummed loudly. Lights flickered on. "It's working." The engineer gasped. The machine glowed brighter, forming a warm pulse. For the first time, Lena felt a spark of hope. Then the alarm screamed again. "Warning. Tunnel of Biarries." Vera grabbed Lena's arm. "Mama Reyes is there." Lena's heart skipped a beat. She looked toward the tunnel entrance, fear clawing at her. "Finish stabilizing the generator," she ordered the engineer. "I have to go." "Mama, no!" Mira cried. "I won't go far," Lena whispered. "But if Reyes falls, all of us fall." She took a deep breath and ran toward the battlefield. Behind her, the generator pulsed stronger, like a heartbeat of hope. Asterisk. The tunnel shook like the world above was breaking apart. Dust rained from the ceiling in thin streams. Lena pushed through the narrow hallway, her feet stumbling over broken debris and dropped weapons. Behind her, Mira shouted, "Mama, wait!" But Lena couldn't stop. Tunnel A was the front line. Tunnel A was where Reyes was fighting, and if Tunnel A fell, the entire human base would collapse under alien fire. As Lena reached the entrance, she stopped, frozen by shock. The fight was brutal. Blue flashes of Verlax weapons tore through the air. Human fighters ducked behind makeshift barriers, firing back with whatever they had: old rifles, stolen alien blasters, even metal pipes. But in the center of the chaos stood one man, Commander Reyes, the Breaker. He fought like a storm, fast, precise, unstoppable. His glowing blade swung through the dim tunnel, slashing alien armor as if it were paper. Every strike created a burst of blue sparks. Every movement pushed the Verlax back, step by step. Yet Reyes wasn't untouched. Blood dripped from a cut on his arm. His armor was cracked. His breath was heavy, but he did not stop. A human fighter shouted, "Commander!" More on the left. Reyes turned just as 3 Verlax soldiers charged, their armored boots shaking the ground. One raised a massive weapon, twice the size of a human, aimed directly at Reyes. Lena gasped, "Reyes!" The shot fired. Reyes moved too late. The blast hit him square in the chest, throwing him backward into the wall. The impact echoed through the tunnel. For a moment, the entire world froze. Humans stared. Aliens snarled. Lena's heart stopped. Then Reyes tried to stand. He pushed against the wall with shaking hands. His legs trembled. But he rose, barely, painfully. Slowly, he lifted his blade again. The Verlax commander laughed. A harsh metallic sound. Humans break easily. Reyes wiped blood from his mouth. "Not this one." The alien growled and raised his weapon again. Lena didn't think. She didn't plan. She simply moved. She grabbed a fallen blaster from the floor and fired. The shot hit the alien commander in the side, staggering him. Every fighter, human and alien, turned toward her. Reyes' eyes widened. "Lena, get back." But Lena stood firm. Her hands shook, yet she did not lower the weapon. "You will not touch them," she said. "Not my daughter. Not my people." Her voice, though soft, cracked through the chaos like lightning. The alien commander roared and charged. Before he reached her, Reyes leapt forward with a scream, half fury, half pain. His blade slashed across the alien's chest. The commander collapsed, armor sparking violently. Humans cheered. Verlax soldiers hesitated. Reyes stumbled, falling to one knee. Lena dropped the weapon and ran to him. "You're hurt," she whispered. Reyes attempted a weak smile. "Nothing serious." But she could see the truth. He was fading. His armor was cracked open. Blood soaked through the fabric beneath. "Reyes, you can't keep fighting like this," she said desperately. Reyes forced himself up, leaning against the wall. "If I don't, all of you die." A loud metallic roar echoed from deeper in the tunnel. More Verlax forces, heavy ones. A soldier shouted, "Commander!" "Reinforcements are incoming, 20 soldiers, maybe more." Reyes clenched his jaw. "Everyone fall back to the shield room. We make our stand there." Humans began retreating, dragging the wounded. Lena grabbed Reyes' arm and helped him walk, but the Verlax didn't wait. Blaster fire rained down the tunnel. One shot hit the wall beside Lena, exploding rock and dust. Mira ran out from the side, tears in her eyes. "Mama, Reyes!" Another explosion made the ground tremble. A human fighter screamed, "The tunnel is collapsing." Reyes shoved Lena and Mira forward. "Run!" The family sprinted toward the shield chamber as rocks fell behind them. The Verlax soldiers advanced with terrifying speed. When they reached the chamber entrance, Reyes pushed Lena and Mira inside, but he didn't enter. Lena's eyes widened. "Reyes, what are you doing?" He planted his blade into the ground, blocking the tunnel. "I hold them here," he said. "Buy you time." "No." Lena grabbed the doorframe. "You'll die." Reyes' voice softened. "Humans need hope, Lena. Hope needs time. Time needs someone to stand and fight." His gaze shifted to Myra. "Take care of her. Take care of all of them." Mira sobbed. "Reyes, don't go." Reyes touched her hand gently. "Little one, I promise if I fall today, I fall fighting for you." The Verlax soldiers appeared at the far end of the tunnel. Reyes lifted his blade. "Close the door," he said. "No." Lena cried. "Close it, Lena." Tears streaming, Lena hit the control panel. The heavy metal door slid shut just as Reyes charged forward with a roar. The last thing they saw was him standing alone against an army. A wall of blue light swallowed the view. Then the door sealed with a final echoing thud, for several long seconds. The sealed metal door shook under heavy impacts. Each blow sounded like thunder traveling through the walls. Lena held Mira close, both of them trembling, not from fear of the Verlax, but from fear of what was happening behind that door. Reyes was alone, facing an army. For them, the room filled with frightened whispers. Will the door hold? Commander Reyes can't fight all of them. What do we do now? Lena stood up, her voice firm despite the tears on her face. We keep fighting. That is what Reyes would want. Her words steadied the people around her. Mira wiped her eyes and nodded bravely. A young engineer ran into the chamber, panting. The nutrient generator, it's stable. It's giving power. Lena's eyes widened. How much? Enough to activate the old human shield system. Enough to create a blast field. A spark of hope shot through the chamber. Lena quickly crossed to the console. Dozens of cables led from her machine into the old human control system, one built long before the Verlax invaded. This system. It can create a shockwave, she whispered. A massive one. The engineer nodded. Strong enough to wipe anything in the tunnel. Mira's eyes suddenly widened with fear. Mama, but Reyes is in the tunnel. Lena froze. Her heart twisted. If she activated the shockwave, it would destroy everything on the other side of the door. Good and bad. We can't, Lena whispered. We can't sacrifice him. The engineer swallowed. If we don't, the Verlax will break through in minutes. They'll kill all of us. The room fell silent. Then came a new sound, a voice on the intercom, weak, broken, but unmistakable. Lena. Everyone turned toward the speaker. Ray's voice. Mira gasped. Rays! Lena felt her throat tighten. Rays, where are you? There was static. Then coughing. Then his voice again. Activate. The shockwave. No. Lena cried. It will kill you. Another heavy hit struck the door. Rays groaned softly through the speaker. Listen to me. You have something now that the Verlax fear. A machine that can keep humans alive without their supplies. They will hunt you until every one of you is gone. His breathing was shallow, strained. The shockwave will give you the chance to escape. Lena shook her head violently. Not without you. You saved us. You saved my daughter. You saved hundreds of people. Rays spoke quietly. Then let me save them again. Mira sobbed. Please come back, please. There was a long pause. Then Rays spoke with gentleness Lena had never heard before. Mira, I'm proud of you. You are stronger than you know. Lena pressed her forehead against the console, tears streaming down her face. Rays, please. Another explosion slammed the door. The metal bent inward. Time was over. Rays spoke again, weak but steady. Lena, you once built technology to help humans. Now use it to protect them. The speaker crackled. Do it. And remember, humans are never small. Not when we stand together. The signal cut. Silence. Lena's hand hovered over the activation switch. Her heart broke. Slowly. Trembling, she reached out. Mira grabbed her hand, tears dripping down her cheeks. But she nodded. Mama. Do it. For him. Lena pressed the button. The Sakofindi Leve lights dimmed. Energy surged through the chamber. The nutrient generator glowed like a small sun. A deep rumble echoed. A rising hum. Then boom. The shockwave exploded outward. The entire base shook as the blast tore through the tunnels. A blinding white light flashed through the cracks in the door. Everyone shielded their eyes. When the light finally faded, the room was silent. The door had stopped shaking. The impacts were gone. The Verlax forces were gone, but so was Rays. Mira hugged Lena tightly as Lena fell to her knees, crying softly. Not out of fear, but out of grief. And gratitude. After the BLST hours passed, humans carefully opened the damaged door. Smoke drifted out. The tunnel was destroyed, walls melted, ground cracked, alien bodies scattered. No sign of Rays. Only his broken blade lay at the edge of the rubble. Lena picked it up slowly. The warm glow inside it flickered once, then died. She held it close, tears falling silently. Mira whispered, He saved everyone, Mama. Lena nodded, voice breaking. Yes, he did. A new Bijiang and Ing days later, the humans packed what they could and began their escape journey through hidden tunnels. Lena helped lead them. Her generator powering lights, water filters, and their new hope. They reached a wide underground valley, untouched by Verlax. Scanners, a place Rays had once marked on his secret map. Humans began building shelters, planting seeds, starting fires for warmth. Children laughed again. Mira stood beside Lena, looking at the new camp. Mama, will we be safe here? Lena held her daughter close. Yes, because of him. Mira looked up. Do you think Rays is watching us? Lena smiled softly. I think he is with us in every step we take. She lifted Rays's broken blade toward the light. Humans may be small, she whispered, but together, we change everything. The wind carried her words through the valley like a promise that the human race was not done, a promise that Rays's sacrifice would become legend, a promise that this was only the beginning.